The officer who does the issuance of those documents is a member of your union.
They are members of our union.
So it means you guys are at fault. You didn't take it out to get the money in the first place.
We don't collect cash. You submit the bill. The airline is supposed to go and pay. And when he pays, he brings evidence of payment, and the officer who is in charge issues a receipt.
So when he doesn't bring evidence of payment, why allow the man to move? Why allow the airline to move?
The officer who is in charge of revenue has no power to stop the airline from operating. He has not. The only one the person who has that power is the MD. The power is vested on the MD. He's the only one that can say, look, the ABC airline, you are not paying us, and because you have not paid us for a very long time, we cannot continue to render this service again. So don't get our services.
You're telling us in very clear terms that the management had absolutely no influence in your going on strike.
No. We are not on strike. We did revenue drive.
Oh, yesterday was
a revenue drive.
Was revenue drive.
It was revenue drive.
It was not.
It is not a strike.
So it's not going to continue today.
No, we are there. We are saying that you are owing 7 billion. You are owing 7 billion. Go and pay something.
No, you call it revenue drive.
Yes,
but it's not picketing.
Whatever name you want to call it, we are not picketing. We have issues with Arik. We have not gotten clearance from TUC and NLC to picket them on non-unionization.
Part of the issues.
What we did was revenue drive.
Okay, that means there was no notice whatsoever for this revenue drive.
You don't give notice because the federal government, the Federal Airport Authority have given various notices. Every attempt. We have been following issues.
You know, some of us will think now that ATSAN, your revered union, is now the finance department of FAAN.
That's not true. It is not. What you saw happen yesterday is not a FAAN matter. I said aviation workers. We had people from NAMA. We had people from NCAA. We had people from AIB. We had people from SACO. We had people from NACO. Don't forget that we operate in all these aviation organizations.
Yeah, but
they are all service providers.
Mr. Gale, it is also said that part of the reason why, in fact, if not the major reason, even though we'll get your response now, you're doing this is because Arik don't unionize.
Well, like I told you, I don't like what we call playing to the gallery. I don't like cheap blackmails. I just told you here now before you asked that question that we have not gotten clearance from the Trade Union Congress and NLC on picketing Arik on non-unionization. As soon as we get that clearance, we'll picket them.
No, but so we all know how it works. It's part of it. You see, that's why they say you're picketing Arik. If they unionize,
not true.
This might not have come up.
That is not true. We are not afraid of picketing them when we get the clearance from TUC and NLC to do so for non-unionization.
But let's paint a scenario. Assuming you had members in Arik Air, would you go on this?
Now, yeah, if we had members in Arik Air,
revenue drive,
we wouldn't have allowed situation to degenerate to the extent that we'll go and picket them for revenue drive. We have membership in aero contractors. When their debts are increasing, as we have monthly National Administrative Council meetings with representatives from all these branches, and when we get information from FAAN, this airline, because we are interested in the survival of the organization where we work, and as a union, that is very paramount. We are proactive.
This is a first. I mean, I have never seen this, and it seems that it's mostly still in the aviation sector in the last how many months, because it would seem that every time that the management of FAAN takes a step, the union seems to be very much in support of it. Last time it was Mavis. We saw the union also pushing the management to say, yes, go ahead, they're right. We actually want these people out of the airports. Now it is Arik Air, and we're also seeing the unions strongly. In fact, they seem to be leading the pack in front of the management. What exactly is going on?
Unfortunately, you don't seem to get information as to when we have disagreement with the same management. If there is what we call convergence of interests, that is exactly what is happening. We have issues now on automation of the aviation industry, and the unions are saying that the way you want to do it is not the way it is done all over the world.
That's
we have issues
with FAAN,
not FAAN, because
who does this automation? Who do you have?
The automation is to be done in all the aviation parastatals.
Who is to carry it out?
Well, it's been anchored from the ministry.
Well,
giving directive to all the,
I know that has been anchored by FAAN. Let's hit it now, because sometimes we ask these questions, we pretend we don't even know what we're saying. But this time around, we have to hit it now. We know it's been anchored by FAAN. They want to fully automate all of these. But your union is kicking against it, opposing this. It brings to mind what Chamberlain asked the MD, asking if this wasn't what Mavis was doing then, automating almost all of this, but now FAAN wants to do it so that they can block some of these loopholes, so that your union will not go out tomorrow to drive, is it a revenue collection?
Revenue drive.
I think it's important.
So why is your union kicking against this total automation for revenue collection at the airports?
It's important I will make this very clear. The unions are not against the automation of the airport environment. We have a very situation that is different from what obtains all over the world. And we got scared and were raising objections. All over the world, the responsibility of automating the airport environment is vested on the airport authority. The airport authority is the one that had dealings with the public. They have concessionaires who come who are there in form of either the restaurants, the banks, the bureau de change, every other persons that works within the terminal. So they have dealings with the public.
In this case, FAAN.
FAAN. And we are saying that, yes, FAAN should automate the entire airport environment while every other end user keys in. Now, the situation we have here is different. The automation is to take place in FAAN, is to take place in NAMA, is to take place in NCA, is to take place in Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, is to take place in Nigerian Meteorological Agency.
So where do you disagree with them on this?
Thank you very much. FAAN customers for aeronautical revenues are not different from NCA customers. Am I right? They are the airlines for aeronautical revenues. They are not different from NAMA customers because they are the airlines. NAMA render services to the same customers that FAAN has, that NCA has in times of aeronautical revenue. If FAAN has automated the airport system, what then does NCA and NAMA has to automate differently when they have the same customers? I give you an instance. You go to ShopRite. You pick things you want, you come to the point of payment, and you have various alternatives. Either to use your ATM if it is POS compliant, or to pay cash. Am I right, sir? Because we are operating a cashless society. Incidentally, the airport environment for aeronautical revenues have the same customers. So if FAAN has automated, NCA is an end user, NAMA is an end user, NCAT is an end user, they automatically key in. That's what obtains all over the world. But in a situation where you want to go and start signing different automation agreement with NCA, with NAMA, with NCAT at different expenditures.
Isn't it because there are different accounts? It goes to different unions.
Why is that a problem for the union? I mean, if that is how they choose to go about it, why should the union be bothered?
It is not how it is done. It is not how something is fishy there. And that is why we are complaining.
So you're suspecting foul play?
We are suspecting. That's why we are complaining. We are always saying that if you don't know that this is how it is done, we have written petition to explain. We are affiliated to International Transport Federation, World Federation of Trade Union. We have done our research. They have given us information.